YouTube. It's Rishin. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate you as you travel along with me on my YouTube journey. So I have been reading, as some of you already know, this book or listening to this book called I Thought It Was Just Me by Dr. Brene Brown. She deals with shame. She deals with the triggers of shame, or what event became a shame trigger, and how to heal from shame. So, how I do this. I'll share my own example or my own experience in this subject, and then I'll share something that I have witnessed on those YouTube streets that to me is related or relatable. Okay. So I've shared in the past that I was sexually molested when I was 7. When you are sexually molested, 2 things happen. For me anyway. One, it became a shameful secret. And 2, I started acting out. Now, interestingly enough to me, the adults in the room didn't pick up on the telltale hint of a 7-year-old acting out sexually. They just thought I was being fast. No, I had been sexually molested. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised. Actually, statistics show that when that happens to a boy or a girl, there's a majority of them, and I don't have a number, and right now I have no receipts to show. Just from what I've read, the majority of them act out sexually after it happens or during the time it's happening to them. So, when a child acts out sexually and they're a kid, when they're a kid, okay? 6, 3, 4, 5, even earlier. When they're kids, I mean, in this day and age, sex is being introduced to kids younger and younger by other kids. But we're talking about an adult male. In my case. So, it wasn't until my 20s that I actually healed from the shame, even understood what the shame was. I didn't really understand it. I just knew that I was making some questionable decisions and choices, and I wanted to change. I didn't know how. So I went to a therapist to find out how. And as I started talking about my past and things that's happened to me, that was one of the big ones, the sexual molestation at 7. We started working on that, and working on that issue, I started to understand that I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't a decision I had made. I was a kid, and that I didn't have to hold on to the shame of being sexually molested. Now, those are folks, I've talked to some folks or have heard from some people that because they don't have a frame of reference, they're not really sure of how to deal with that, the sexual molestation and people acting out because of it. And they make comments that because they have no frame of reference, they make comments that sound very judgmental, which then can trigger shame. Like, why didn't you tell anybody? Okay. I did, but it wasn't for years. I didn't say anything for a long time. When it did come out, I was 14. And I told my mother's friend, who then supposedly had her boyfriend find the guy. he supposedly ran into the molester in a store and asked him if he sexually molested me, and supposedly the guy said no. So this is the story that my parent comes back and tells me and tries to guilt me into thinking that I almost got somebody killed. And what I said to my parent at the time, at 14, shocked that parent, because that parent was real quick to slap the shit out of you. So when I said to that parent, he's a sexual molester, what would you think he'd say? That parent had nothing. They didn't have a retort. There was nothing they could say, because that's a true question. The man is a sexual predator. He's a sexual molester. He could go to jail for this. Why would he admit to being a sexual molester? Why? So, I'm sorry, I almost got him what now? No, he didn't tell you the truth. And apparently, you don't believe the truth. You didn't want to believe him. You don't want to believe me. You would rather believe him. He's a sexual molester. You would rather believe him. Okay, well, it still happened, so it doesn't matter what you believe, what you don't believe. It doesn't matter. It still happened. And he still did it. And I was still 7. I was ready to get slapped. I was like, I'll take the slap. Fuck this. Excuse my language. You just gonna have to fucking slap me. He sexually molested me. I was 7. He's not gonna admit to it. I healed from it when I was in my 20s. Like I said, I went to a therapist to heal. Alright, there's still certain things that can trigger me. But like Malia Davis, that was a trigger. That whole situation was a trigger to me. Her not being protected. None of the adults really caring about the child. Yeah, that situation triggered me. It still does. It still does. It still does. There was another situation where a mother left her child, her 18-month-old child, with some guy she didn't know for any length of time. He raped her. She was 18 months old. And I'm talking about it was in the United States. It was a recent case. He raped her. Raped the 18-year-old child. 18-month child. And she died from her injuries. I think there's an article in USA Today that because the Malia Davis and that other case that said boyfriends are not your babysitters. Mothers, boyfriends are not your babysitters. Stop leaving your children with these men. Yeah. When I was sexually molested, I was left with him. He was to babysit me. So I know firsthand, boyfriends should never be babysitters. I know firsthand. Don't set your child up for that. Don't do it. Don't. Whatever you have to do is not more important than your child. Than your child's well-being, than your child's life. It's just not. So don't. Just don't. And if you went through it when you were a kid, remember the pain, remember the agony, and I'm pretty sure you remember the shame because it has not gone anywhere. If you feel the need to leave your child with a man that is not their father, You're making maladaptive choices. There's something going on there. Okay, so I've shared from my experience. Let me share what I've been watching on these YouTube streets. So I watched this documentary the other day about cafe boys in Ghana, and then found another one on YouTube boys in Nigeria. So they go into an internet cafe. Some of them steal pictures of U.S. servicemen's photos, create fake profiles on social media, and just start hitting up any woman they can find until they find, and they don't just hit up on one or two, they find several of them and they hit on them and tell them all the things that they think a woman wants to hear. Now, I do have experience in this as well, not from the standpoint of I've been scammed, but from a standpoint of I totally bust the scammers out every time they reach out to me. I can definitely tell you're scamming me. One, I don't know you from a can of paint, but for some odd reason you're in love with me. Really? You don't know me. It's something about your picture. Really, you think I'm that stupid? No, you don't think I'm stupid. You think I'm that lonely. You think I'm that gullible. You think that I want some man to woo me with his words. Yeah, thank you, but no. No, thank you. That stuff doesn't work. A man's words, pretty words, especially from some stranger, I don't know you, and they come out fast and hard and heavy. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. They come out. I mean, it just, no, thank you. I had one tell me that he knew my guy, my fella. He knew who he was. He knew he was being unfaithful, and he could prove it to me, but he couldn't do it on Instagram. We had to chat through WhatsApp, because WhatsApp was more secure than Instagram. What? By the end of the conversation, he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I had another one reach out to me like 2 days ago. And I told through Instagram. And he supposedly was a serviceman, but he was stationed in Kabul. So what I wrote him was, I just watched this documentary on cafe boys. Now, I made the mistake of saying the cafe boys were from Nigeria. It's actually, cafe boys are in Ghana. The Yahoo boys are in Nigeria. Anyway, but the cafe boys in Nigeria who steal U.S. servicemen's pictures and then pretend to be them and prey on lonely women. I found it very informative. That dude deleted the conversation. Oh, it's hilarious. Dude. No. So today I went and looked up Yahoo or Cafe Boys, and what I found was Yahoo Boys. And I'm looking at all these Yahoo Boys posting about the millions of dollars they're getting from all these unsuspecting people, women and men. Now, what I didn't see is what they were doing to build up their community's economy. Now, what I saw was them flossing. So you lied to get the money. You're not just I get it. Nigeria is filled with, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of corruption in the government. I get it. But when you got those millions of dollars, I'm looking at it. I mean, I personally, if you got to lie to get your money, that's ill-gotten gains anyway. You're not gonna keep that for long. That's not. But then that's how they act too. They're not keeping that money. They're not using that money to better anybody's life, not even their own. But you got it ill-gottenly. So now, how do I equivalate, or how do I correlate the shame I went through is sexual molestation and cafe/Yahoo boys? Well, cafe/Yahoo boys, they prey on women and men who are looking for someone to accept them for them. And to me, the foundation of that lack of love comes from shame. Now that I can say I've experienced too. You think you're in there are relationships that I've been in that as now at 51, I'm like, what in the hell was I thinking? That girl, are you serious? Yes, because that's where I was at the time, as far as how I felt about myself, my self-esteem, I struggled. It was a struggle. And then when I started picking on weight, and people they don't give two fucks about what they say to you about you being overweight. Like, it's none of your damn business anyway. But I digress. To me, those cafe/Yahoo boys are able to manipulate people, women and men, into giving them millions of dollars because they play on their lack of love for themselves. If you love yourself enough, you'll see through that stuff. If you have dealt enough with your whatever's going on with you, and to me, the origins are going to be shame. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how these people they tried to manipulate you. They tried to manipulate me, and I'm like, dude, I said no. But see, you can't be manipulated if you don't fall for it or get caught up in the drama that they're talking about, and how are they able to draw you into their drama, and you feeling sorry for them, and you wanted to help them, and you want to rescue them because you want them to give you what you feel like you lack, and that's love. You feel if you give them, then they'll give you back. No, sweetie, all they're going to do, it's a clap. And to me, narcissist. All they're going to do is take from you. They're going to take till they can't take anymore. Till you have nothing left to give them. And all they want is your money. When you don't have anything left to give them, they're going to leave you with nothing. You're not even going to be left with love after everything is said and done. That's, to me, why I can correlate the two. Toxic shame can keep you from self-love. Toxic shame can bind you into a false sense of self. Like, everybody sees this supposedly shameful thing you did. Oprah Winfrey talks about it in her book, What I Know for Sure. Her mom, anyway, when it came out that Oprah was pregnant, her mom was trying to get her to put her in at the time, juvenile hall. You didn't have to do anything bad to be put in juvie, but they didn't have enough room for Oprah. But Oprah had been sexually molested. And not once, but twice. That's, to me, how I can. It's shame. Now, I bet if those women and men really dug deep, asking themselves, why would you give these people all this money? I read this story, I watched this story today, a current affair from Australia. This woman was scammed 3 times, a total of $300,000. She was scammed 3 times. She married the third one. And now she said it. All I want to do is be loved. I just want somebody to love me. Do you know what you could do with $300,000 for yourself? She sold her house to give this man $300,000. The first one she gave $80,000 to. You know what? The third one she's married to, I don't know how much money she's giving him, but she's giving the money. I don't remember her saying. But you know how much money you could have? I mean, what kind of, if you really, when I looked at her, I'm like, okay, so I can tell you're not really taking care of yourself. I see you have makeup on and you get your hair done, but you have things going on aesthetically that if you took that money, you could totally deal with that. But that it wouldn't matter because it's your head, what's going on in your head. And when you say all you want to do is be loved, well, there you go. You don't love yourself enough. You want them to love you to fill in the hole. Well, that's where they can take advantage of you. Because you're not looking at yourself and loving you right where you're at. But if you have, in my opinion, now this is me, if you're dealing in shame, because to me, what that says, you don't feel like you're good enough. Like you're not good enough for these. So if you give them money that like makes you good enough, it doesn't. Now you're good enough without the money. You're good right where you're at, aren't you? And to me, shame causes that. At least for me, it did. Until I started to heal from it. Now, maybe I'm off topic. To me, no. Well, maybe I am. But in the end, 2 lessons. 1, heal. Whenever something triggers, ask yourself, what is the trigger? And work through the problem so you can heal. 2, no one can ever do to you what you don't let them do.